It's a hot sunny day at Edgerton, and we're talking to Altrincham Vice Captain Toby Malarkey. Toby, first of all, how does that sound, Toby Malarkey, Vice Captain?
Yeah, it's a nice little tag to the name now. Obviously, something that I was very happy about when it got announced. Obviously, speaking to the gaffer in close season, I think it was something that was set once Jordan got announced as a skipper. So to take that into this season, I think it's going to help me both on and off the pitch, try and grow into the role a bit more.
And of course, a new setup for captain and vice captain, but a new setup kind of overall with full-time professional football. Can you just give us an idea of the difference really between the setup and your sort of procedure as a player last season compared to now full-time?
Yeah. Well, obviously it was really different last year. Obviously finishing work and then training on a Tuesday night and a Thursday night. Obviously everyone having full-time jobs, so it was tough going into games on Saturdays and Tuesdays. You maybe felt a little bit leggy, whereas this season's no excuses for that really. Obviously you've seen the facilities that we've got, being able to train every day and do all the things that we wouldn't normally have time to. I think it's going to stand us in good stead, and hopefully we can have a good year.
Could you just give us an idea of what the sort of routine is every day? Can you just talk
Yeah.
to
So
Mullarkey parking his car and going in?
Yeah, it's literally come up, 9 o'clock start, everyone has breakfast together. A couple of us like to have a couple of games of ping pong before we get stuck into it as well. I've not won one yet, but George's got that title so far. And then it's gym work normally at around about 10 till half 10, and then we're out straight here 10:30 for a few hours, doing all the things that we would do normally like we were last season, but with more detail going into it. All the running and physical exercise then comes after. So looking at finishing sort of 1:30, 2 o'clock, and then it's down to yourself after that to keep on top of things that you might need to and ready to go again for the next day.
Is he as competitive at ping pong as he is at football, Jordan?
Yeah, he's still got that little bite to him. He doesn't like it if I beat him, but saying that, I've only beaten once, so see if we can add a few more to it.
I mean, it was. Phil said last season it was a tight-knit group, which was great. But is it even more so this season, or you've got everything in place to be anyway? When you say things like you have breakfast together every morning, it sounds like that's a great way to build up a bit of camaraderie.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those. Obviously, we lost a lot of players last year, people that couldn't do the transition. So that was something that we were maybe not concerned about, but obviously with a lot of new faces coming in, that was something that we had to work on, that team sort of bonding, because that was something that did us so well over the past few years, how together the group was. But I think already it's starting to come through, the fact that we're spending every day with each other, like you said, little things like breakfast, team games, team bonding weekends. So it's a well-knitted group now, and like I said, looking forward to getting stuck into it and seeing what we can do.
I mean, you look at any team, and I think probably a lot of fans look at, well, how good are the individual players, but can you give us an idea of how important that sort of bonding is, that togetherness, that team spirit that you've got here?
I think it's massive. It's probably one of the big things that you need to focus on with any squad, any teams that I've been involved in the past. If you've got a good changing room, it always stands you in good stead. Maybe those games where you need that togetherness to see you through. There was a couple last year where we were trailing, and then it's that team spirit that carries us through, and you end up getting a point or three, which can be massive come the end of the season. So we know, like we said, having a group that's together is going to stand us in good stead.
Have the new lads settled in well, do you think?
Yeah, they've all been brilliant. Like I said, that first week everyone was a little bit cagey and sort of not wanting to get stuck in too much, which I think is fair enough. And then since that, you go into week 2, week 3, and everyone's settled in perfectly. So yeah, it's a great group to be around. And like I said, the full-time environment it's a really special feeling.
I mean, it looked that way with the trip to Douglas. The fact that the new lads have only been here a few weeks, but judging by the noise and the laughs and everything else on the ferry on the way, at the end of a long hot day with the delay, that suggested they've slightly improved.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's one of those team bonding weekends are always brilliant for it. It helps bring people out of the shell, and like I said, those types of weekends are needed. And it was a great weekend for the fans as well as the players. Good to go and put on a good performance. And then, like I said, it was a great weekend for team bonding, and can come back in now and get stuck into it this week, ready for the Stockport game.
I mean, the other thing I suppose about new faces is that it affects different positions how well they slot in. And in your case, you were used to having Tom Hannigan alongside you last season. Sad to see him go, but it was perhaps full time didn't suit him. Now you've got new lads alongside you. How are you finding that, and the lads who've come in?
I said that about Tom. He's probably the best centre half that I've played alongside. So for me, personally, to play alongside him and learn from him, he helped me massively both on and off the pitch. So if I can do the same for other lads that are coming in now, and we get that little bit of almost a competitive edge to us, because obviously we're all going to be competing for places. Everyone wants to be playing. We can bring the best out of each other in training, and then that'll take us well into games.
And the other thing about, of course, about the vice captaincy was, it was at about the same time it was announced you were staying, and that was done with quite a flourish, if I remember rightly, wasn't it? Talk us through that.
Yeah, that was something the media team wanted to have a little go at. So obviously I went and did my holiday, so I was away for 5 weeks. So it was a case of signing sort of electronically whilst I was away in Peru. So to get it announced like that, I think it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek. It was a bit special. And yeah, it was great to be a part of and see it get announced.
Was it just the one take to get it right?
I think there was about 10, if
Before
I
you got
remember it
that?
rightly. But we got one. The one that did well was good. So
That'll do. We can
yeah,
post
exactly.
that. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, it is. I mean, you've got that sort of flamboyant side to you. And on the way back from Douglas, I think some of the new lads did their initiation, didn't they? How did that go?
A couple of singers. No one top lame is just yet, but there's a couple of singers. It's one of those. It's the same thing that we do every year. Anyone that's new comes in and does it, and they all gave it a good go, which is the main part.
Yeah, I wonder whether you might be giving them any coaching with it.
If any of them need it, yeah, I'll be welcoming them in. But yeah, no one topped it just yet, but we'll wait and see.
I suppose on a slightly more serious note, how do you feel the pre-season's going? Phil said the other week that the idea is to hit the ground running when it comes August the 6th, and so he wants a gradual improvement. But I mean, the performance in Douglas was such.
Yeah.
It might take a bit of stopping, but
yeah, I mean, it's one of those. Obviously, in part-time, we did as much as we could, and I think we played Nantwich last year, and at that I think it was the second game in, we were already doing really well. So we want to try and tailor it this year so that by the time the first game of the season comes, we're reaching our peak essentially. So it's all tailored and monitored to how we want to do. So I think at the minute, the way things are going, it's running really smoothly. Everyone's settling into it, like you said, and the running and gym sessions are all tailored to us. So hopefully, come that first game of the season, we're at our peak, and that's when we should be hitting our best form.
Just to wrap it up, Toby, probably a difficult one, but if you try and assess what we had last season and then this season, maybe I think the squad might not be as big numbers-wise, but you've got this preparation that's better, perhaps. Expectations will probably be quite high, being full-time. But how do you view the season going into the season with optimism and justifiable optimism? Do you think?
Definitely. Like I said, I think it's a new group, but I think it's something that we can hopefully take in our stride and take on to lead into something special. Obviously, we've got to manage the expectations. I know people are probably going to be thinking that we're going to be pushing and doing things above and beyond, which if we can, then great. But obviously, we know as a group what we can do. Fingers crossed that is something special, like I said, with the things that we got in place, the players that we brought in. I think that is possible. It's down to us to go and do it on the pitch now and in training and see what happens.
Great stuff. That's smashing. Toby, thanks a lot for your time and all the best for the new campaign.
Thank you very much.